Alright, today we're looking into which AI is the best to use in 2026. Full disclaimer, we're only going to be looking at ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and Claude. These are obviously just the most popular ones. Everything else is just noise at that point. There's too many for me to review all of them at once. Starting with ChatGPT, this is the vanilla ice cream of the LLMs. I remember being in the second or third year of uni hearing about ChatGPT and how it could write essays for you. Just thinking about the way that this tool has evolved over the last 3 years is sort of insane. It really didn't know how to write anything, but now it literally can do everything for you when it comes to research and things like that. If I'm being honest, I don't think OpenAI and ChatGPT had enough resources to take it to the next level in terms of using this LLM. And again, this thing is goated for cheating. Let's be so real right now. I use this to cheat on every exam, every test, anything in terms of writing on a piece of paper digitally. You would use ChatGPT, and that is really what it's good for. It destroyed Chegg in terms of its stock market price because it completely took over that whole business model and turned it upside down. So yeah, this is more of a basic tool that you use for writing, reasoning, research purposes, or just to do some general tasks of like organizing your own ideas and thoughts. But other than that, I wouldn't say it's the best tool for more advanced ideas, but it is still the most commonly used tool across every person, and mostly average people are going to use this because that's all they really need it for. They don't need it to code, they don't need it to do image creation or things like that. They just need someone like a personal tool helper, and they're just going to use ChatGPT, and honestly, that is no problem at all, and it helps you out. That being said though, in the last 4 years, ChatGPT has absolutely changed the way we use AI for our daily life purposes. So for that reason alone, it may not be the best option in 2026, but it still gets the job done. Solid 7.5 out of 10. Next up, we have Google Gemini. This is the one I'm personally been using over the last couple months, and I have a few things to say about this. Honestly, if I compare the reasoning and the conversational skills with ChatGPT, I think ChatGPT is still better. But the thing with Google Gemini is it can handle some pretty complex tasks. For example, I was looking to do some research on a bunch of different companies, so I literally asked Gemini to compile a list of 100 companies in a certain area with a certain amount of employees, and it took its time and really did give me a list of companies that I never would have found, manually, because Google used, I think, the actual Google search bar, and it sort of used the database right there, which definitely helps with, a lot more research intense purposes ultimately, because everything's on Google. So I think it's a lot easier to get your research on that sort of end. But honestly, I do think Google is really good for those more deep thinking, thoughtful research papers or tasks of prospecting and things like that. It's a very useful tool. Full disclaimer though, I've only been using this one because I have a free 1 month trial, so I just wanted to see how it works, and it's been pretty good so far. I don't have any big complaints yet, but I don't see it being my main one. I think it's a good idea to have all of them in your arsenal, but this one helps a lot more with the research kind of stuff that I'm looking to get done. So for that, I'm gonna definitely give this a higher rating, because not only does it do logic models and things like that, it also does image creation and video creation, which ChatGPT does as well, but not as good as Google Gemini. And let's be real, Nano Banana versus ChatGPT images. Nano Banana shits on ChatGPT in terms of image creation and prompts. It just does a lot better than what ChatGPT really could do. ChatGPT sort of does well, but it doesn't have the good details that Google has. Obviously, they own YouTube, so they definitely have it incorporated in their AI there. But I would say image creation, Gemini is definitely the best pick here. And of course, we also have video creation, VEO3. This video creation has been the absolute apocalypse of YouTube and short form content. Oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure 60% of your feed is just AI generated videos coming from this generator. And let me tell you, there's some funny ones, but most of them are just horrible. They're really bad, right? But regardless, a lot of people are using this AI to make AI videos and post them online for money and things like that. But it's sort of a blessing and a curse. It's mostly a curse, let's be real here. But again, image generation, video generation, Google Gemini is a very solid pick all around. Okay, all around. I wouldn't say it's the best at reasoning, but I would say that it's good at content creation purposes, list purposes, research purposes, image creation and video generation. I think it's a good all-in-one pick for sure. So I'm going to have to rate this one an 8.6 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Claude by Anthropic. First off, I need to get this out. I am not a technical guy at all, but I know that this LLM has been changing the game in terms of technical use practices, in terms of coding, agent AIs, all the buzzwords that you can think of. This LLM has been taking over everything, but I just don't think that this one is as popular or mainstream compared to the other two, and it sort of makes sense. This is a company that a lot of people don't know what they do, but people who use its really useful tools for technical stuff like coding obviously are going to use Claude. I know people that literally have 90% of their code written by Claude and they only do 10% of the editing. It's sort of insane what Claude is doing and how fast it's changing, how people can code and make software and mobile apps online. But obviously, if you're not a coder, this is still a pretty solid LLM, but it just has a different use case that might not fit everyone's needs. So I wouldn't say it's for everyone. It's definitely for people who are more tech savvy, computer science savvy. But I would say that Claude is definitely one of the most advanced AIs we have in the market. So again, I will say I'm not the technical guy, but I do know and I do keep up with which ones are the best. This is definitely the best coding and technical task LLM in the entire market. It's pretty much a portable super programmer, and it does a lot of good analysis on your code. It just helps you so much in terms of your workflow and just getting out, software, getting out code, getting out websites. This is a very elite, complex sort of task running workflow AI that you're going to use. I sound smart here, but trust me, I don't know how to use this properly. I definitely want to look into it a lot more and hopefully make more things with this. But yeah, this AI is really good if you couldn't tell already. And also something interesting, Claude recently announced that they're sort of integrating into workflows like Excel, right? People use Excel all the time at their jobs. And, Claude is finding a way to sort of break into that workflow and just add itself into Excel, which is a direct threat to like Copilot and things like that, which is pretty crazy. But it also just makes you think like, there's going to be a future where a lot of the jobs that people use on Excel are going to be automated by something like Claude, because it already can do a lot of tasks that people are being paid a salary to do. So you need to really think about how advanced AI will be in the next 5 years. I mean, obviously, just compare the last 4 years till now. We could barely get a Will Smith video eating spaghetti, and now we have perfect 4K quality of him eating spaghetti. And sometimes you can't even tell the difference now. It's getting really scary. But yeah, this AI is very good. I'm going to give it an 8.9. Guys, next up we have Grok. I'm going to be so honest, I don't use this one at all. And the only time I've ever seen this one being used is those damn stupid people on Twitter saying, Grok, is this real? Grok, is this AI? Grok this, Grok that. It is probably the most annoying thing I've ever seen added to X. Honestly though, this has sort of ruined my perception on the Grok AI. I'm sure it's good. I really don't even think I want to look into it, because the amount of requests I've seen on Twitter for them to take off someone's pants and put a bikini on, it's sort of sickening. And that's all I think the Grok LLM will be used for. It's more of just a trolling sort of thing to laugh about, especially on Twitter. I'm telling you, the comments on Twitter are horrible. But I will say sometimes it does do some good requests when it comes to image creations and things like that. It also does pull up some good facts and, some research that you might have, questions you might have. But other than that, I really don't have much to say on this. I'm going to give it a straight 7. Anyways, these are my thoughts on the top 4 most popular AIs. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, bye.